Fantasy football, RSVP, go deep. So let's get right to it with the update on Anthony Richardson and the Colts and the beginning of an era of Gardner Minshew Mania. Okay, let's get into this. One of the advantages of this podcast is nothing is edited. You just push play, and I talk right from the gut. And it's almost the same as a live show. And I use my knowledge, both not only of football, but also my knowledge of understanding the body. As a licensed massage therapist, as a certified personal trainer, sports nutritionist, I'm able to give angles that, for the most part, go deep. For the most part, aren't really being given, because understanding the muscles, understanding ailments, being a certified personal trainer over 25 years, owning a personal training company, in rehabilitating shoulders, rehabilitating knees, rehabilitating hips, so on and so forth, and dealing with those injuries from a rehabilitative standpoint as a licensed massage therapist, state of New York, licensed. You really understand rehabilitation, recovery time, and the healing process. Now, Anthony Richardson, quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, got a acromial injury, shoulder injury in the acromion, and it's an AC joint sprain. Okay, it's right over here near the clavicle, what a grade 3 sprain does, and they put him on IR. Let me break it down for you, because a lot of people playing fantasy football don't understand the injury, and they're holding on to the hope that Anthony Richardson's going to come back, and he's going to be enough time to grow in a quarterback situation. Still have enough time, to come back in, grow as a quarterback, and maybe help them out as a running quarterback, causing chaos, come playoff time. Maybe you get him back like week 10 or 12 or something like that, and there's enough time for him to grow as a quarterback where he is a run threat, getting you a lot of run yards, which is what you're hoping for, and he develops as a quarterback, throwing the ball, and he causes a lot of fantasy points, rushing the football, running the football, passing the football, so on and so forth. Let me explain to you how the shoulder works. I deal with a lot of clients. I've dealt with shoulder repairs, recovery times, labrums, acromion, shoulders, so on and so forth. And this is just my guess, but Anthony Richardson is out for the season. Okay, it's just that simple. When you're talking about an AC joint sprain, a grade 1, it's 4 to 6 weeks. If you talk about a grade 2, it's 6 to 8. If you're talking about a grade 3 sprain, you're talking about 8 to 12 weeks. Okay, if you look it up on the internet, it may say 6 to 12, 6 to 12 weeks recovery time. It could be 6 to 12 weeks, which is almost unheard of, 6 weeks on the short end. But that's for a normal person that is not a professional athlete. Okay, this is a guy that not only has to heal, but he has to build his arm back up and his shoulder back up, and he has to perform on a professional level. That's going to take 3 months, and that's a 12-week process, in my opinion. And I really don't see the Colts necessarily as a playoff team. However, they could be. But there's no way they're going to put Anthony Richardson in game 1 of a playoff game if he is just coming back healthy then. And let's say a Gardner Minshew Mania, I've seen it before. Okay, the mustache and the Minshew Mania. I just picked him up on my fantasy football team, Hall of Fame league, and I think if you want a quarterback and for the rest of the year, and you want to rally behind something, and mind you, I am starting him this week, playing against, it's a revenge game. I love revenge games. And he's going against the Jaguars. Good defense, better defense than other years. The defense is actually playing very well, but it doesn't matter. It's Gardner Minshew. It's Minshew Mania, mustache, all that stuff. And they actually have, they have Taylor, they have Moss coming out of the backfield, who they're going to incorporate both. Okay, they have Downs, they have Pittman, they have McKenzie, they have Pierce. Rumor has it that they might be trying to go for Jasicki or Pitts in the trade. They have Ogletree, which had a couple of catches last week and does tremendous job blocking as tight end. This is a team that actually I feel is on the rise. I think their coaching is intact, and the numbers may not be big for the well. Let's switch back for a second for the AC joint sprain. For a normal person, it's 6 weeks. For someone that's a professional athlete, we're talking about 12 weeks. We're going into game 6. Okay, 6 times 12 is 17, 18. He's going to be ready to play right about playoff time. And that's if they make the playoffs. And they probably won't, but if they do, which is possible, especially in the East, which I don't think is going to happen, they're certainly not going to bring him back. So if you're playing fantasy football, I hate to break the news to you, but if you think Anthony Richardson is coming back in 4 weeks, you're delusional. I'm a licensed massage therapist, okay? I'm a certified personal trainer, former bodybuilder, and a rehabilitation specialist. I deal with broken shoulders, broken hips, and broken back stenosis and knee, replacements. I've been dealing mostly in the form of a physical therapist for the last 30 years, and nobody knows more about it. Anthony Richardson will not be back in 4 weeks. He will not be back in 8 weeks. It's not going to happen. It's a grade 3 strain. He's a professional athlete. He's got to amp up. He won't even be able to do anything for the first 4 weeks. He'll be in a sling. He won't even be able to move it. Okay, they say he's doing some range of motion exercises already. You're dreaming. He's out for the year, in my opinion. That's my call. And Gardner Minshew, we don't know how good this Colts team is because we have a quarterback that likes to run first and throw second. And, these quarterbacks, they come in. The only one that I have seen do it successfully is Jalen Hurts. But let's not forget, Jalen Hurts is only in year 3, and he's only been around for a few years, playing a couple of years playing full time, and everyone gets away with it in the first year. So did RG3. Okay, so did Lamar Jackson. I could name you list on and on, but that style of play does not work because what happens is they wind up getting injured. And after year 3, like Lamar Jackson, he's getting injured. Okay, RG3, all due respect, love the guy. Same thing happened. In the running quarterbacks, it's just a matter of time till they get injured. Tua used to run a lot. Now he's becoming more of a pocket passer. He realizes he can't, run. And the thing about Philadelphia, the reason why they get away with it more, and again, he's only in year 2. Let's see if he's running as much in year 5 or year 6 or year 7. Russell Wilson realized he couldn't do that, after a while. And now he's not looking so good. But the bottom line is the running quarterback, Philadelphia does a lot of design runs for the quarterback. That's not the same as a quarterback dropping back to pass and turning it into a run. When you do a designed run, which Philadelphia does a lot of, you have blockers, you're prepared for the run, you tuck the ball, you square your body, you're prepared to go down and get hit, and you're prepared for everything that's about to happen. But when you're talking about a quarterback that just goes back and throws, which Philadelphia doesn't, Jalen Hurts doesn't take off a ton. He has a lot of design runs. He gets away with it. He won't get away with it in years to come. He's got to learn to be a better pocket passer. Great quarterback, though. However, Anthony Richardson, I was like, watch this guy get hurt. You just knew you knew it was going to happen. C.J. Stroud is throwing the ball, which is good. He's not just sitting back there like some of the other rookies they're all getting hurt. Bryce Young getting hurt. So the bottom line is if you aren't playing fantasy football, I have seen it before. Let's switch. Anthony Richardson's done for the year. So, and that's what you get from, this podcast, is you get someone that actually understands the body, understands how it works, understands injuries, rehabilitation. It's what I've done for 25, 30 years. And I'm always going to give you that angle. And I'd love to see Anthony Richardson play, but it's just not going to happen. The Colts are an interesting team because you look at their receivers and Pierce and McKenzie, Pittman and, all these guys. And you sit there and Downs are also very talented. Watch out for Downs because Minshew likes throwing for that guy. That is definitely a waiver wire potential pickup. And in week 3, he had a huge week. And in week 5, when he came in, Minshew started throwing him the ball a lot again. And he had 100 yards in both of those games, 100 yards plus week 3. I would look out for that because Gardner Minshew, it's the type of thing that grows. And it starts to gain mania. And this guy gets excited, pumped up, and he gets on a roll. And this guy, in my opinion, you have to see it before it happens. I don't think people realize how talented. Pierce is talented. Downs is talented. Pittman is talented. Okay, these are talented. They have 2 very capable backs. They have a healthy, running backs, Moss and Taylor coming out of the back. Watch out for this team. They're going to throw those short passes, right over the middle, which Gordon Minshew loves doing, loves throwing the screen, quick screen, out to his running backs, Moss, Taylor. He loves throwing those short passes. Very great game manager, moving the sticks. And I think if this guy gets on a roll, which I think it's going to happen, they start the whole mustache and the Minshew Mania. This is a very capable quarterback. He's going a revenge game this week against the Jaguars. I'm playing him, okay? This is a guy that has swag. This is a guy that has confidence. And this is a guy that can continue to grow. And he's got really talented receivers. He's got really talented running backs coming out of the backfield. Rumor has it that they're pushing hard to pick up a tight end. Ogletree, fantastic blocker. Okay, they don't need a big tight end. He had a couple of catches last week. Looks kind of capable, but there's rumors that they may pick up a Giuseppe or a Pitts. You got to read the local newspapers. And one other thing about fantasy football, you got to watch the games. I know we're all busy, but when you watch the games, you see something. I'll give you an example, okay? I watched the game, the Green Bay game, Monday night, and I had, for example, Love as my quarterback on my team. And I do think, Love will be an eventual good quarterback or whatever they're saying. Honestly, I really don't know. We have to wait and see. But I didn't see a lot of his games this year, okay? Which I try to do, because when you see the game and not the highlights, it's completely different. And when I watched that game, Green Bay play, and the style they were playing and how they were trying to play smash mouth football and not even throw the ball, which is one of the reasons Rodgers wanted to get out of there, because he wanted to throw the ball more. And they want to do a smash mouth, short kind of passes and, impose their will with game management. And that's not really Aaron Rodgers, who I love, by the way. And make sure you have him stashed. He's coming back this year. Okay, it's very possible. His injury is a 4-month window, and they said he's ahead of schedule. He could be back in 3 months. Okay, it's very, very possible. And the Jets could very possibly be in a playoff hunt. Got a tough game this week, but that's okay. Jets are playing well right now. And I expect that game to be a little closer than people think this weekend. Don't forget, they took the champs. They should have won that game. They did win that game. Refs took it away from them, in my opinion. But anyway, I think the Gordon Minshew pickup will be huge. I see a whole Minshew Mania coming forward. The guy's got swag. He loves that spotlight, and he just gets on a roll, and he just runs with it, runs with the gets the crowd going, and the whole social media mania thing. He just engulfs it, and I've seen it before, and it's going to happen again. And people don't realize how talented the Colts receivers are. They're great route runners, excellent route runners, and that is what Gordon Minshew does. He's a very accurate passer, and they got two great backs coming out of the backfield. And Lord knows they get a good tight end. But I like their tight end because he's a great blocker. But this is they're moving the sticks. The offensive line is looking good. And, this is a team's offense that you may want to start looking at the receivers for this team because their numbers are going to climb. And when you see a pocket passer like Gordon Minshew, and we'll just get to the point on this, versus an Anthony Richardson who hasn't played a lot of games, okay, you don't really know how good these receivers are until you see a real passer in them. But back to what I was saying about Love. When I watched the Green Bay game, he didn't look good. I keep it real on my podcast. He didn't look good. And he was on my team. I actually dropped him. I'm not saying he won't be a good quarterback. I mean, I wish you the best, Love, with what you're doing. But he didn't look good. He didn't look good throwing the ball. And the coaching didn't look like they were trying to pass the ball. They're trying to do a game management, run the ball down your throat deep. And I saw that. I'm like, whoa, I can't have this guy on my team. Not now, because I could just see the way they were play calling. And I'm not saying you can't win that way, but I certainly don't want him as a fantasy option if you're not airing the ball out that much. And he didn't look confident. He didn't look confident because he's not able to get on a roll. He's not able to get on a roll. Maybe it's some of the frustration Rodgers felt. Because that style, and I've seen the Giants win championships with that kind of offense. So it can be done, but it's frustrating for a quarterback because you really can't get on the roll. And he looked a little shaken. And when I see that, I'm like, he's gone. I might pick him up again if I see him get back on the roll. All due respect, I think he'll be all right in the long term. But the Minshew, this guy is ready to take over, and he's got an emerging offense, and you're about to see how good the receivers are on the Colts. And I could see this guy consistently. I'm not saying he's going to put up 30 every week, but he could get dangerously close to putting up 20 every week. 20 every week. And on a good week, maybe 25, maybe 27, maybe 28. On a bad week, he's probably still going to get close to 17 or 20. And that's what you want. You don't want a guy putting up 6, I have Dak Prescott on my team, who's been putting up 6s and 8s, and it's just terrible. But he's Dak Prescott, okay? And he's going to figure it out, and his numbers will climb. So you don't give up on a guy like Dak Prescott. They've also had some pretty bad matchups. And people don't understand, you have to understand the game of football. They are running a completely new, in-phase West Coast offense, which McCarthy ran in Green Bay. They didn't go full throttle on that the other years. They incorporated it full throttle 100% this year. It's a very complicated offense that is based on instinctual play, where the receivers have the liberty to see something developing and choose a different path, and choose a different path based on a platform that allows you to extend instinctually based on what you're seeing on defense, which a quarterback has to read and the receivers have to read, and they have to get used to doing that rather than exact, precise route running. It's very different, and it takes a while for that to marinate and kind of grow into something that you're going to see really explode. So the Cowboys team you see now, and I'm not a Cowboys fan, but the Cowboys team you see now is not the Cowboys team you're going to see later in the year. Okay, and Dak Prescott, don't worry about Dak Prescott. He's going to be putting up his 25s, his 30s, stuff like that, 26, 24, 23. He'll get into the 20s, but it's not his fault. It just takes time for a West Coast offense to marinate, grow. and blossom. So I think pick up Gardner Minshew. Anthony Richardson's done for the year. Okay, that's my call. Okay, and this is a guy that could probably win you your fantasy league. When I say win, he's not going to put up the 35s, 40s, but he's a quarterback that you could put in if you're not getting quarterback production. That's going to get you 20 almost consistently every single week with an occasional 25, 23, 28, and that's what you want, that consistency. And the Gordon Minshew Mania is beginning.
Dean Curry live, fantasy football, so have a good day.